Welcome back. So Starfield Direct is over, and I'm just going to go through a series of videos, just kind of break down a lot of different segments of the game. And in this video, it's going to be mostly about character customization and showing off a little bit of the photo mode that they had kind of towards the end of the Starfield Direct. But let's get into it. So really one of the first things we kind of think about in character customization is not just our initial starting character customization, but sometimes it's just the clothing that we wear out in the world. And they kind of did start off by showing some of the different space suits that you will have and you can be able to wear. Now, what's kind of interesting in the gameplay that we did see a lot from Bethesda from the Starfield Direct is we didn't really see too much of the character that they were showing off outside of the space suits. So it'll be interesting to see how much we are going to be outside of our spacesuits. I'd imagine there will probably just be a toggle switch in a lot of the cities and zones where it's environmentally safe. We could probably take off our suits and just walk around as our normal character. But here we did see them show off some of the suits that are in the game, which was kind of neat. Now, one of the takeaways I do kind of notice here with the suits, though, is there is no really ability to mix and match. So basically the suits are just going to be the whole suit, not like pants and top. Maybe there is some factor like that in the game, just not shown off here. So we'll have to just see. And then helmets are going to be different. And then they got into the character customization, and they talked about their development process for bringing in a bunch of different people from a bunch of different backgrounds and taking some facial pictures of them and uploading it. That way they had a big catalog to kind of choose from, and then they kind of use that as a starting point to go off and make a bunch of different renders and start that way for making animated faces and stuff like that. I thought that was kind of a neat approach. Even the walk behind the scenes and kind of how they did that, I thought that was kind of neat. But when you do start out making your character, it actually seems like it's going to start after you actually start the game. Like you're going to do a little bit of the game, something's going to happen, like you're going to get knocked out or something like that, and then you're going to kind of wake up from a coma. At least what I kind of got out of it. Maybe it's not that way. And then you will actually pick from a few employee record profiles that they kind of showed off. And basically this is kind of like your basic starting kind of face character appearance. And then you move on to your body and you're going to pick kind of your build type. Are you going to be thin, muscular, heavy, body type 1 or 2, walk style 1 or 2. Now those are a little bit different from what we saw last year. Last year they weren't actually just 1 or 2. It was kind of like just a number there. So it gave the impression that there was going to be more choices than just 1 or 2. This year, very clearly shown it's either 1 or 2 types for, body type or walk style. And then you got your skin tone. You can be able to pick basically your pigment, so how dark or light your character is going to be. And then you are going to move over to really kind of specking out your face. And this is where, man, it looked like it was pretty detailed, pretty impressive. Probably gonna have most of all the things that you would expect to have in a typical RPG, Bethesda style, with probably some upgrades since they last did a game like this. Fallout 4, Fallout 76. So yeah, expect a pretty comprehensive breakdown here. A lot of different things. You can even pick your teeth, which I thought was neat. I was like, okay, so maybe you take a bite out of an apple and maybe your teeth imprint will be left behind, or maybe them sandwiches, maybe they'll leave your teeth marks behind. I think that'd be kind of funny. So it'll be kind of curious to see just all the different features that we're gonna have to pick and kind of customize here for your face, because the slider on the left side, we don't really get a clear breakdown all the way down, and it kind of jumps around, so it doesn't very clearly go to all the different ones in order, but it does look quite extensive. And then we get into the areas that's going to be a little bit more gameplay relevant, which is going to be picking your background and the 3 traits. Now you're going to start by picking your background, and I don't know if you can reset your background. I don't think so. There have been no mentions of that, so I'm going to say probably not. The traits sounds like there will be a way to reset traits if you would like to, which we have not seen all of them in totality yet, but there looks to be quite an extensive list, quite a different way to customize your character to how you want to play the game.
From chef to Dusty. You know, the crew still has a betting pool about which restaurant critic you must have crossed to wind up here.
Beast hunter to help track down a monster.
Fine. I probably should stick to professionals anyway, given what happened the last time.
And one of the things I'm kind of thinking, or at least speculating, because it's very hard to really tie it all together because we don't get a very clear picture of everything. But I would imagine whatever skills you unlock with your background, it just unlocks those skills in the skills tree. That way you can start leveling up and ranking them up right away. And you don't really need to spend skill points to unlock those skills. That's just kind of how I'm noticing it so far. Now, some of these are going to really impact some of your game dynamics, dialogue systems, how some of the characters kind of give you some feedback. I'm kind of leaning a little bit more towards the beast hunting part of the game just because I do like hunting down beasts in game. I don't know why I do. I like hunting in real life, and I like hunting in video games, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, it seems like it's going to be kind of just playing to whatever style and however you want to play the game, which is, man, it sounds fantastic. It really does. But as far as picking the 3 traits, very neat show off that they did at Starfield Direct. And then how some of that even ties into some gameplay stuff with pluses and minuses. Do not forget there are pros and cons with basically each one of these different traits. Here's a couple of examples.
By Vectera! Is it really, really you? I can't believe I get to stand near you, breathing the same air. I've got to have every molecule.
Honey, we got ourselves a visitor.
Oh my god!
But because I had chosen a trait that made me the same religion as them, I was able to get by without any issues.
There's another great one that gives you a damage buff when your health is low, but mercenaries will randomly show up and try to kill you.
Another thing I kind of noticed is if you see these like brackets with, diplomat here on the first line of this dialogue system, that basically says, hey, you have the background and this is your background dialogue choice, which then kind of takes you on your, own kind of background, different kind of gameplay mechanic or system or story, that kind of thing. So very interesting that you will be able to see that very clearly in the dialogue choices. And I actually kind of thought it was pretty funny when they showed off this, when you needed to get rid of your hero worshiper trait, the guy that follows you around. By the way, I thought it was really creepy when he says, I want to breathe your every molecule. Man, I thought that I was so creeped out. And I was like, what? It was funny, but really creepy just the way he says it. But basically, the game apparently wants you to commit murder. So not only is this guy going to be a part of your crew, but then you might even wind up murdering him if you want to get rid of him. I thought that was kind of neat to even show that off. But basically, there are going to be different kind of things like this to do if you want to reset your traits. They didn't really show off really much of any of that. They kind of said, hey, we want you guys to figure that out on your own. Really kind of neat that you will be able to do that. But here's a look at a lot of the different types of characters that they have throughout the game, and just a lot of the different appearances that you can, create. Maybe you come across a lot of these, or maybe you kind of want to go maybe this route on the way one of your characters looks. I even thought this character with the big, facial mouth tattoo around the nostrils and stuff, I thought that looks pretty cool. You can have a mouth nose tattoo there, and then use the photo mode in front of different areas. Now this is pretty cool. This is the only time that they actually showed the photo mode, okay? And a few of the things that we can see here is obviously you got your camera, and you got really kind of different ways you can use your player. Do you want to show your player in the photo? So are you just taking a screenshot of some really weird random thing? Or do you want to have a different pose of your character? Seems like we'll be able to have different lighting settings and different color settings. And then at the end there, maybe some different frames that we can use on our photos as well. So be kind of curious to see if we can take our photos and actually hang them up in our ship or our bases. I think that would be really neat if they did do something like that. I think that would be cool. Yeah, this is about all that they have as far as like looking at character appearances, photo mode and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure the system's gonna be way more in depth than what they actually showed off. They actually didn't spend that much time in this area of the game. And I know a lot of us, we're going to spend probably our first like hour or two getting our characters probably customized. But yeah, I just wanted to make this stuff to kind of have a reference for anything that's kind of related to character customization and that kind of stuff. So hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.